Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Nicole. I'm a psychic channel and medium, and I'm here today to talk about Kundalini awakenings and what it feels like when you're going through one. 3 years ago, I had mine, and it was so chaotic and so crazy. I thought I was losing it. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I want you guys to know what it feels like and what you should do when it's happening, because it can be a little scary if you don't know what's going on. So let's get started on what Kundalini is and what it feels like when you're going through a Kundalini awakening. So, every human being is born with life force energy, and this energy is running all through our bodies when we're born. And then over time, because of our food, because of school, because of trauma, that energy recoils and sits at the base of our spine. We can awaken that energy, and it doesn't happen for everyone in every lifetime, but it is happening more than ever now because we are going through a shift in consciousness. So the awakened human, which is what everyone is going to eventually be, is a human that has experienced Kundalini awakening. So let's talk about some of the symptoms that you might experience when you're going through a Kundalini awakening. I do just want you to know that it doesn't happen all at once. It's not like a straight shot. Sometimes it takes time. Like for me, I think it took maybe 3 months. So it works its way up your spine, or it's actually right in front of your spine. We have this energy column inside of our bodies, and our chakras kind of lay on top of it. So if you have, let's say, a blockage in your solar plexus because of trauma you experienced as a child, your Kundalini is kind of stationed there. It cannot rise up higher until you begin to work through that trauma and the energy center starts spinning properly. So let's get into it. Let's see. Usually, Kundalini is triggered by a traumatic event, either a near-death experience or, in some cases, a mushroom trip. In other cases, maybe you lose someone close to you, or you have an accident, or there's like a huge breakup that kind of devastates you. All of those things would make you question life. It kind of puts everything into perspective, and it helps you to realize what matters, what doesn't matter, what's important to you, and what isn't important to you. And it kind of strips away the ego. And when I think of the ego, I think of it like a mask that we wear. The ego is who we want, or who society wants us to be, and we attempt to conform to that. And so we create this mask. And when we go through a traumatic event, the mask kind of starts to disintegrate because we realize, oh, none of that matters. I don't care about who society wants me to be. I'm going to do what I want because life is short. So that usually triggers it. You will also notice that you experience increased arousal. So the Kundalini energy is your life force energy. And the life force energy is the same as sexual energy. So you're going to feel that at the root chakra. It feels kind of like tingling or energy. It literally feels exactly like being aroused. So you might think, oh my God, why am I so horny all the time? Your body's being prepared to have a Kundalini awakening. My advice in this case, do not go sleep around because that energy is sacred. If you must, entertain yourself, but it's even better if you can hold that energy and not release it, because that allows it to build more so that you can have the Kundalini awakening instead of releasing it. Next, your body temperature. So I noticed that for myself, I was very, very hot. Like for 3 months, my body temperature went way up. I was super uncomfortable, always sweating. And I was like, what is going on with me? This is so weird. But I was very hot all the time. I also noticed that if I wasn't super hot, then I was freezing. So body temperature kind of, it struggles and it's all over the place for a while until after you have your awakening. Another thing that was really not nice for me was the nausea. So I had a lot of just stomach discomfort for about a month or two, and then it just disappeared. If you have a solar plexus blockage and you are going through a Kundalini awakening, you're going to feel that as well. You will feel the stomach discomfort, but it passes. It's not forever. Pressure headaches. Pressure headaches are very, very common. You feel it here usually. You might feel tingling on your scalp as well, and this is your third eye. Your third eye starts to open, and when it does that, it's kind of, think of it as like it's working out. So it has to contract and do this. So it is like a muscle. And so that contraction, when that happens, it gives you a headache. So that's normal. Super uncomfortable, but normal. The next thing, ear ringing. So this is very, very common, and it can get so loud that you're like, you can't hear, and it feels like you're transported out of time and space. And I'm here to tell you, I know it's super annoying, but it does go away. It does get better. But during the process of the Kundalini awakening, it's really, really intense. And what that is you hearing the energy that's moving through your body. It's almost like a tuning fork or a singing bowl, and it is tuning your frequency to a higher level. So that's why you experience that. You're just being able to hear energy. It's also like your psychic gifts coming online. So uncomfortable, yes, but it doesn't last forever. Next, one of my favorite side effects of Kundalini awakening is developing extrasensory perception. So you might have glimpses of the future, you might have visions, you might have a knowing in the pit of your stomach that something is going to happen. You might be able to read someone's mind. Your psychic gifts are going to come online really quickly. I know you remember like being a kid and having these gifts and seeing things and knowing things, and that's because our Kundalini as children is active, but it becomes inactive because of our conditioning, like I said, because of our diet, because of our trauma. And so what's happening is it's reawakening. Increased synchronicity. This one's fun too. The angel numbers, the thinking of someone and then they call you, that kind of stuff. It's the universe kind of showing you that you're waking up, that you're in the right spot, and that you're supported. Another one that is not so pleasant, but trouble sleeping. You might have a hard time going to sleep at night, and this is because there's so much energy running through your body, and it doesn't last forever again, but it is very uncomfortable. Feeling like you're tripping while you're sober. So I don't know if any of you have done mushrooms or microdosed on mushrooms, but the microdose of mushrooms is exactly what a Kundalini awakening feels like. It feels like you're connected to everything. There are some visuals you might see like mandalas, but it's not very intense, and it's only once in a while, the visuals. But it's really beautiful. And honestly, my life got 1,000 times better after my Kundalini awakening. So I don't want any of you to be afraid or think that, oh God, something horrible is happening to me. It's really, really beautiful. And it's kind of like, I explain it as being half alive in my own body my whole life. And then when I had my awakening, I was completely alive, and it was so beautiful. Next, I just talked about this, but seeing things, I would say that is a part of the psychic gift. The psychic gifts developing. You might see things out of the corner of your eye, but they're good things. It's like your spirit guides. It's nothing bad, so you don't have anything to be afraid of. But what's happening is there's a whole other realm that's layered over ours. And that realm has always been there. It's not that you're seeing something's bothering you. You are seeing now what has always been there. You are changing to be able to perceive it. Another thing, craving solitude. Not having anything in common with your friends anymore. Waking up one day and being disgusted by meat. Everything changes. You change, and it's in the best possible way, but you can imagine, remember the ego, the mask that we put on, you develop a whole life around that mask. You have friendships around that mask. And so when it starts to disappear, you look around and you're like, oh, I don't even like these people. They're not even nice to me. You can see really clearly. So it is normal to want to be alone. I know society tells us that being alone is unhealthy, that it's bad for us, that we're loners, but that's not true. Being alone is really important. How can you get to know yourself if you never spend time with yourself? So if you're craving solitude, give yourself what you're craving. Energy moving through the body. So this sensation can be a little uncomfortable if you're resisting it. But what happens is, remember, like I said, you're kind of half dead in your body until you have your awakening, and then your nervous system kind of wakes up. So you might have tingling all over your body. Sometimes it feels like something's crawling on my arm, but there's nothing there, and it's our nerves waking up. Because when you have your Kundalini awakening, that energy moves all through your body and it fires up everything in your body. So you might experience like trembling out of nowhere, and it's all energy related. Another thing you might experience is your body rejecting alcohol and rejecting certain things that are not good for you, like certain types of food. In most cases, it's stuff that isn't good for you anyway. So it's kind of awesome, but at the same time, we miss our junk food. Let's see what's next. Increase self-awareness. So you will have moments where you can, where you're watching yourself. It feels as if you are watching yourself having the human experience. And while this can be a little weird and a little uncomfortable, it is just a higher level of awareness that you're experiencing. So it is really beautiful because you get to enjoy the human experience in a different way. And you feel like less of the victim and more of the co-creator of your reality, which is an incredible thing. Another thing that has happened to me is increased sensitivity when it comes to light and sound. So if lights are too bright, it hurts my eyes. If the sound is too loud, I feel overwhelmed almost. It makes me very uncomfortable, so you'll probably notice that as well. Another thing, your taste in music might change. You might not like the same type of music anymore. You might listen to something that you used to love and it sounds completely different because your self-awareness has changed. Your sensitivity to energy has changed. So in the most beautiful way, everything about you is changing. And it's a good thing, but it can definitely feel, like I said, a little chaotic and a little confusing. And that's why I wanted to make this video for all of you. So if there are any symptoms that I missed and that you have experienced or have been experiencing, or if there's something you're experiencing and you don't know if it's related to your Kundalini awakening, leave it in the comments and I would love to answer all of your questions. I love you all, and I'm sure I will talk to you soon. If you'd like, find me on Instagram, the High Priestess 11, for more information on Kundalini awakenings and how to deal with them, or how to encourage yourself to have a Kundalini awakening. You can go to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/the High Priestess 11. I have tons of videos there that will help you through the process. Bye.